Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Srimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Diname. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Diname. All glories to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. I think on the day that we heard that Maharaj's health was declining, it was so encouraging to hear so many devotees coming forward, chanting and praying for Maharaj. Gopal Krishna Maharaj, from my limited understanding, and especially after hearing from Mali Maharaj, nothing would please Maharaj more than the unity of Iskcon. Under the same shelter, the one shelter of Srila Prabhupada. And in any decisions that Maharaj made, whether as a GBC, whether for the benefit of his disciples, the first consideration Maharaj always had when I had the experience of working with him was whether this would benefit Srila Prabhupada's movement and whether it would benefit Iskcon. As Manmali Maharaj pointed out, it didn't matter to Maharaj how much of accolades he got or how famous he had become or the fact that actually in India he was the face of Iskcon. In fact, around the world, more people have probably seen Maharaj because of his vast traveling and his vast zones, and yet he would only utilize it if it was favorable to Iskcon. And this was the greatness of Maharaj. I had the good fortune of working under Maharaj because he was my GBC in Gujarat, and therefore for the Rajkot temple, Dwarka temple, and now the Somnath temple that's coming up, and the other places in Jamnagar and all these places, Gopal Krishna Maharaj was a very kind GBC, and he always fanned our enthusiasm. He was an expert manager because he was not a micromanager. Maharaj had this amazing way of empowering leaders, and he would empower them in such a way that everyone would come out hearing from Maharaj and always feeling encouraged. And the other thing that I found about Maharaj was that he had an amazing way of managing the thousands of disciples he had. Because even though he would initiate so many disciples who come and tell me that when Maharaj saw them, no matter how long ago or from which part of the world, Maharaj would be able to pull out and extract some personal details about them that let them convince Maharaj knows me. It doesn't matter if I'm one of thousands, but Maharaj knows me. Never mind going so far. Every time the disciples of Maharaj from Singapore have gone to meet Maharaj, and Maharaj was very kind to them, Maharaj always gave them time. He would know everybody's background, everyone's details. He would inquire about their families. It was so warm and personal. And that is the greatness of a sadhu. A sadhu is not only someone who imparts knowledge, but actually a sadhu must be approachable. If the sadhu cannot be approachable, then how will he be able to impart transcendental knowledge? So this was an aspect, a very unique, transcendental aspect of Gopal Krishna Maharaj that I witnessed time and time and again. In October last year, just to give you some background, 2 years ago in the GBC decided that it was time to make sure that all the gurus, all the sannyasis, and all the GBCs, especially if they have disciples, they should write wills. So as General Counsel for the GBC, my duty was to come up with a resolution and to share it with the GBC and get the GBC approval. In the discussion there, one of the GBCs that gave me most support for this resolution was actually Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Because Maharaj kept emphasizing to all of us that just like Srila Prabhupada made a clear will delineating what Iskcon should be and how he wanted it to be run, in the same way, all the leaders who are now Prabhupada's disciples, they should make it very clear how they should pass on the legacy of Srila Prabhupada. So Maharaj was an ardent supporter of that. Now, last year, at the midterm GBC meetings in Pune, Maharaj's health was, the physical health at least, was very challenging. And it was becoming, quite visible to some of us that actually it was becoming difficult. So, I was in a discussion with Maharaj and we were on the same table. And despite the challenges that he had, I realized Maharaj was transcendently stubborn because he would refuse to let anyone, right, do service. He felt very bad genuinely if someone were to do service for him. So if Maharaj wanted water and Dashavatara Prabhu was a bit further and I was next to Maharaj, I said, Maharaj, I'll take the water. No, it's okay. I can manage. He was like that. And then at some point, I just raised one very important point to Maharaj. I said, Maharaj, we need you to do a will. Because if you do a will, the rest of Iskcon will follow. Maharaj looked at me very carefully, and he looked at me this way, So, and he said, what's wrong with me? Why? Why are you asking this? What is wrong with me? I'm fine. I didn't know what to say. What do I say at that point? I said, Maharaj, it's actually not about you. It's actually about the future. Maharaj said, do you know when you are going to go? I said, no, I don't. So Maharaj said, all right. And he left it there. I went back in the night after the meeting and I was really thinking very carefully about what Maharaj was saying. And I think for me, personally, I think Maharaj had a message for me. Never mind the will, never mind the organization, everything else. What Maharaj was telling me when he said, what's wrong with me? Is that actually, despite all the challenges Maharaj may face with his sharir, he was always transcendently very healthy. And he was completely fixed with Srila Prabhupada. In fact, by Maharaj asking me that, I think Maharaj was throwing the gauntlet to me to say, maybe you should ask yourself how you are doing. And I thought that was a very sobering thing for us. Another aspect of a sadhu is that he's dealer. And that means he's always sober. And I've never seen Gopal Krishna Maharaj doing an action which is not for a purpose. And there's always a reason why he does something. And towards the end, after that discussion in October, Rishi Kumar Prabhu called me, and Rishi Kumar Prabhu handles the legal affairs for Maharaj. And he called me and he said, Maharaj told me you had a conversation with him in October. I said, yes, Prabhu. And Maharaj told me to tell you that he's working on it. And true enough, just a few months before Maharaj left, his became the most complete will that we had from the GBC. He was ahead, as he always was. And whatever that we requested Maharaj to put in, especially instructions to disciples, because they become so important when a guru departs from the world. Every single point Maharaj actually put down. And that's the 10 main instructions that you read in the will. In the will. And I just want to take you through it. I want to take you through it because what Maharaj put down here is not just what he wanted to give, but it's actually what we should pledge to Srila Prabhupada and for the institution that he wanted. Always accept Srila Prabhupada as the preeminent Siksha Guru for all times. Next one, Prabhu. Always accept Iskcon's GBC as the ultimate management and authority of Iskcon and Srila Prabhupada's representative to follow its instructions and directions. Why? Because it's in Prabhupada's will. It's very clear that Prabhupada wanted that. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj is passing the baton. Next one. Lead your life so as to be exemplary representative of Iskcon and Srila Prabhupada. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj lived his life that way. At every stage, as Vanmali Maharaj said, Gopal Krishna Maharaj was exemplary. He showed us how to live a life in Iskcon, how to sacrifice for Krishna, and how to be always blissful in devotional service. Cooperate together with all other Iskcon devotees to push this movement forward. Anyone who has been a temple president or zonal supervisor under Gopal Krishna Maharaj will tell you the same thing I'm telling you now. Whenever Gopal Krishna Maharaj initiated disciples, the disciples are what we call dream disciples for temple presidents. Because Gopal Krishna Maharaj at the time of initiation, his instructions to them after that, always align yourself with the temple. And that's why it has always been easy for leaders to work with the disciples of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Because Maharaj wanted them to cooperate. Carry on. When some of you advance sufficiently to become gurus and sannyasis, to work under the GBC authorized processes to take up those services, what better example than Mali Maharaj? That is what he has done. He has pleased his Guru Maharaj so much. And today, exactly Maharaj's instructions is embodied by his senior disciples. Never align yourself with persons or groups not authorized by the GBC. And this is a very important thing that we sometimes take for granted. As Iskcon grows, it's very easy for us to say we'll align, we'll do a little bit of khichdi here, a little bit of khichdi there, and we'll put one foot here, we'll put one foot there. Srila Prabhupada never put any foot anywhere. And his example is ours to follow. Gopal Krishna Maharaj is his most loyal servant. And he showed us how he lived in Iskcon, and how he continued being in Iskcon, and how he left while being in Iskcon. And the next point, Prabhu? Oh, did I miss that? Sorry. Oh, yes. Never leave Iskcon. First and foremost, think of yourself as members of Iskcon. Never fight with Iskcon. Resolve your differences internally in a Vaishnava way. Vaishnava etiquette. Maharaj was the emblem of Sadachar. Vaishnava Sadachar. What we always found as leaders was whenever there was conflict, Gopal Krishna Maharaj was the specialist in resolving them. He had a way of resolving differences. He had a way of creating unity in diversity with all the congregations that he worked with. He empowered, he never condemned diversity. Never. He was immensely patient, even with the most difficult persons. I remember devotees saying, Maharaj, I give up on this person. But Gopal Krishna Maharaj would never give up on anyone. And this is what he did. He wanted everyone to always feel that they are a member of the institution that Srila Prabhupada created. Let's move on. 8. Seriously study Srila Prabhupada's books on a regular basis. Always chant at least 16 attentive rounds every day. Chant at least 25 rounds on Ekadeshis and special festival days. And strictly follow the 4 regulated principles of no meat eating, no intoxicants, no gambling, and no illicit sex. And this is what Gopal Krishna Maharaj did. He was exemplary. There was never any, not even a single iota of criticism could be leveled on Maharaj for his sadhana, his standard of deity worship. Right till the very end, it was very obvious to everyone that Maharaj was completely transcendental in his behavior. Last two. Work to make Iskcon a dynamic society. This is what the disciples of Gopal Krishna Maharaj must actually take up. All of you here who are disciples of Maharaj, you have been exemplary. And I think on behalf of all the congregation, we also want to extend our gratitude to the disciples of Maharaj. Because through his disciples, he has come to be known. We may not know Gopal Krishna Maharaj, but through his disciples, one comes to know the glories of the spiritual master. And Maharaj wanted all of us to take up this responsibility to make Iskcon dynamic. That is why we are part of this family. And last but not least, continue donating your time and resources to Iskcon's causes. I will see Maharaj speaking to major donors, and he will very humbly and lovingly tell them, please, whatever you have, somehow or another, if you can, give it to Krishna. And they became so inspired with his humility, with his tolerance, and with his singular vision of glorifying Srila Prabhupada. So I'm very thankful today that Gopal Krishna Maharaj, my regret is Gopal Krishna Maharaj physically did not come to Singapore. We tried so hard, but Maharaj would just smile, laugh, and he would say, I'll see. One time he told me, do you know how many places I have to be GBC of? Can I be spared traveling more? And we said, Maharaj, if you could come, it would be so nice. Devakinandan, Baladev, Subhadra Maiki. But I take solace in the fact that Maharaj lives on through his disciples. And today, Vanmali Maharaj, we are really honored to have you here today as Maharaj's foremost disciple. And to all the other disciples, I'm sure Guru Maharaj will say, every single disciple or every single devotee who has served him, Maharaj never forgets. And you are all special to Maharaj. This is very important. And I'm very happy, K.U. Prabhu, that you have been part of this congregation for years. Many devotees don't even know how much service K.U. Prabhu actually did for Maharaj. But we're really happy that you're here. to Sri Narayan Prabhu, to Advaita Prabhu, and all the Matajis who are here, my humble obeisances. Please do not feel discouraged that Maharaj has entered into an eternal pastime with Srila Prabhupada. He's doing another big project with Srila Prabhupada, and he's building many more temples everywhere. And he's making more and more entities across the universe Krishna conscious. We should be, if anything, if we love our spiritual master, we should become the best disciples we can. We must become the most loyal servants to Srila Prabhupada that we can be. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. My Gaura Premanande. Thank you for organizing this wonderful memorial Prabhus and Matajis. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you very much for your